Welcome to Crypto Nights. This is OG back with another cryptocurrency video. To recap from yesterday, I mentioned that there was a conflict between the 50-minute time frame and the 1-hour time frame. Specifically, there was a potential long at the 33.2K level, so the 200 MAH on the 50-minute, and we'll be looking for a potential long there. So we actually did get quite a nice bounce, even though we didn't exactly touch 33.2K. But had you entered this trade, this would have been quite a nice trade. On the other hand, on the 1-hour time frame, I mentioned that there was a potential short at the 34,000 level. And in fact, on this candle, there was a few people asking in the Discord chart whether or not we should be going short. And my answer there was that I wasn't, because the reason is that because due to the conflict between the 15-minute and the 1-hour time frame, I would be looking for extra volume than I normally would for me to enter into a trade. And as you can see here, volume was very low, right? Even though it was slightly above average, it was barely above average. And that's just not enough for me to enter into a trade when there's a conflict between these two time frames. And as you can see here, price moved down about 1%. Could have been something you could have traded, right? You could have captured this small scalp, but for me, that wasn't something that I wanted to risk because of the fact that if we look at this level here, right, 33.4 was where the 200 MAs served the support on the 15-minute, right? So I typically do not like to enter into a trade in a direction when there's an immediate level of support or resistance in the way on another time frame, because chances are that might be where price stops, and I want to have enough room, right, enough gap for price to run before running into any level of opposing levels. Okay, so with that said, let's look at where prices are right now. So price is now coming back up after this very, very slight dip or rejection, suggesting that this level is holding, right? That's suggesting that we're probably not going to see a larger rejection from 200 MAs on the 1-hour time frame, because if we were to get that, price would have done something like this, right? Price would have gone down. Instead, price went down a little bit and consolidated, and as I'm recording this video, it's in fact breaking back above the 200 MAs. And so if price were to close above the 200 MAs on this 1-hour time frame, I would be very bullish for a number of reasons. One, as I mentioned earlier, because it looks like this level is now flipped from resistance to support. Secondly, volume seems to be quite nice as well, right? So we still have 23 minutes left to go in the hour, but we already see a volume quite above average already. And so depending on how much volume we'll get in the rest of the hour, we might see a pretty nice spike, right, in volume that eclipses these previous candles here. Now, if we were to go long, right, or if this price does continue to go up, where might we see potential trouble? So one is this, right? So this channel or this trend line over here, and we see that price broke down below this, right, and then had a collapse. And so if we come back above to test this level again, then there's potential for a rejection at this level, or at least for price to struggle, right? Because this would be, in essence, a retest of the previous breakout point, right? So breakout, retest, and potentially continuation. So depending on when price tests this level, we're looking at a potential at, let's call it 35K. Yeah, approximately, right? So approximately 35K might be where we might run into some issues. But if price can close back within this trend line, then chances are this whole area will be a bear trap, in which case price is most likely going much higher. And so the next level that we'll be looking for is 36K, right? This previous swing high, and then 36.6K, this higher swing high here, right? And then if it even higher, then maybe if we come back within this channel, right? If this channel is still in play, then we might be looking at a target of around maybe even 39,000, right? But this is this is far off, right? And we will need to monitor the markets one step at a time before we want to target 39,000. But I just wanted to chart these levels out so that we have an expectation of where price might go, right? And so this is what I'm looking at. And of course, on the downside or invalidation will be if we fail to close here above the 200 MAs, right? If in the next 20 minutes or so we see price get rejected, if we see bears come in and we see this become a huge wick and we close below here, for example, then not going to take a long and might even take a short depending on how that candle looks, right? If it's a huge wick, right, and then we close below, then it might be actually a good place for a short. But that's what I'm looking for, right, in terms of Bitcoin. On Ethereum, nothing too tradable. I mean, you could kind of say that this is maybe in inverse head and shoulders, but right like this. But this is this would be a very small inverse head and shoulders, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder, and we would have already broken out. But this is too tight for me to trade. Cardano, actually a potential setup coming up. So we can see this as a potential double bottom here. The neckline would be about this level here, right? So if we get a break above this with strong volume, then potential area for a trade. The only thing I am cautious of is that the 200 MAs are right here, right? And so the 200 MAs naturally serve as resistance if we are coming to it from the bottom. So ideally, if we do break out of this, I would want to see a candle close that is above the 200 MAs for me to be more comfortable entering that trade. If we close, let's say like right here, right at the 200 MAs, then I would want to see a lot of volume. If we see mediocre volume and we close underneath the 200 MAs, I actually might just pass up on the trade and or maybe take a very small position. But that's what I'm looking for ADA. BinanceCoin, this is more of an update, right? This was a WPAT bottom here, entry was here, and we would have already taken profit on this actually for a scalp long, but it looks like it's certain strength and continue to go higher. So if we break close above this, these levels, we might see another larger leg up, and so this might become a larger W like this, right? And then the line would be at around, let's say, these levels here, right? So also monitoring this for a potential long. If we get above this zone, right? I'm gonna call it a zone, right? Get above this zone with strong volume, strong candlestick, then maybe we have like a larger W, like this, right? But let's see, right? I have an alert set here, so if that happens, that's it, guys. If you enjoy videos like this, please do hit the thumbs up button, subscribe so that you get timely videos, share with your friends so we can spread the word. OG out. Thank you guys, and see you in the next one.